and see what happens. Okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. This is the Southampton Council on Aging Board meeting via Zoom. It's November 3rd, and it is currently 4:03, and welcome everybody. Appreciate you joining us today. So we've got a good, healthy agenda, I think. So thank you everyone for joining us. The open time for the public, but I don't see anybody external at this point in time. So we'll move along. And approval of minutes. So I'm going to try to share those because Jim.
I sent them to everybody. Jonathan called it to my attention, and I sent a copy to everybody.
Yeah, so I don't know if everybody can read it on anything but here, but if you want to take a quick glance, because they just came through about 10 to 4, so.
Oh.
Jim always sends them like the next day, but there wasn't anything attached, so.
Yeah.
As you did say, you got them into 2 pages, under 2 pages.
I lost my all my files.
Yeah.
And I've been working with the Geek Squad for a while. I ended up I've got my old computer, but I also added the laptop to it just to be sure.
Anybody do we have a motion for the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Do we have any discussion?
I was just wondering if anybody else was getting ads next to the minutes.
Oh,
Yes.
For what?
I don't know, one was a diamond ring or some sort of
Oh, okay.
various other.
it's the email,
T-shirts
yes, comes in.
Yeah.
Our free email accounts are now paid for by advertising, I guess. So, all right. So we have a first, a second, all in favor. Let me just go down the list as it appears on the side at the moment. Jim?
Aye.
Okay, Jonathan?
Aye.
Josie?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Okay, and Janet, aye. Thank you. All right. All right, treasurer's report. Shall I bring that up and Nancy can walk us through that? Because I know we still have a couple of new folks here that are still trying to make heads or tails of our expenses and stuff. So, which is understandable between all the grants we have. And so, and I don't know, Nancy, did you see the email Joan just sent out from the state formula grant? That said the number would be the same this year as last year. Okay. So what we don't know is the carryover amount though, right? At this point in time?
He did send us the explanation or whatever we asked for. He did send those out right away.
You're talking about he being Bradley, our accountant.
Accountant Bradley.
Uh-huh. So
So I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry.
but I guess I want the state to confirm the number for us.
2,000 and change. Oh, I don't know that they can, but from our records, it's 2,000 and change.
Okay. But to also, I mean, we had to send something into them at the end of the year, right?
We did not this year.
Oh, you didn't this year. Okay. Okay. All right.
And I have my perennial question. Why did we get 2 versions, the table 1 and the table 2?
Because one is, I do it in Pages, which is the Mac software, whatever it is, and then I export it to PDF so people can read it in Excel.
I see. Because my numbers, they don't correspond. For example, on table 1, we have wages at 34,548. And on table 2, it's 33,324 and 26 cents.
Are you talking about table 2, meaning the other Excel spreadsheet?
No, when the treasurer's report is sent, there's 2 versions.
Attachments. There's 2 attachments. One's in Excel and one's in Pages.
Right. And
they don't match up.
Table 2 is the correct one. We
Okay.
did correct that. It was 34 we had put, but it's corrected 33 to 24, 26.
Okay.
Should both be that.
The wages for the director's wages, the 33. So this is correct
Yes.
from your wages perspective? Okay. Are there any other columns that are off, Jim, from?
I didn't check them
Okay.
all, but
Or it's kind of weird because I just
the captions
exported.
even seem different. But
Yeah, maybe when you export from Mac, sometimes I don't always find that it's, exports as cleanly to Excel from Pages, from the Mac software. I know I have that issue too, because I create in or not in Pages, but I create in Numbers.
Numbers, yeah, numbers.
And so when I export, I know that sometimes it's a little bit off. So we'll go by this as our master for today, Jim, okay?
the tab 2.
The one that have in front of you,
Right, good.
okay, on the screen. So Nancy, I'll turn it over to you if you want to give any updates or if anybody has any questions. I know that people have, like Sylvia and Jonathan, who are relatively new, and even Jim, who hasn't been doing this for what appears to be a lengthy time for the rest of us. Maybe a little bit of an explanation would be helpful. Do you mind going through that, Nancy?
Sure, but I'm not exactly sure what to say because, nothing has really changed. We just keep plugging along with the salaries. If you can, I can't do it. So can you hover over some of those things? Yeah. So I've just updated for this past month and there really hasn't been any change except that Darlene isn't working anymore. So that's why there's an open spot in the town wages.
Yeah.
And
this is what we spend from the state formula grant, which is oftentimes office supplies or for flow salary. Let me just see where we can. In the now, do we pay the drivers out of?
no, you're in the other one. It just popped over.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, it does that often.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is 500 more? What's in that one? I wonder.
Go there for the bottom one. So every couple weeks, Joan has to submit warrants to the treasurer collector, Joan,
Correct.
to process, to pay whatever we have spent. So this is the $500 one is for Glenn, his Tai Chi for a number of weeks. The Zumba, oops, come back here.
And
Okay.
the art class.
Flow salary, Deborah McNeil for the art class. Okay, so that particular week or 2 weeks, those were the expenses that came out of the state formula grant.
Mhm. So, yeah, it seems in order. I just have one little housekeeping question under wages, expenses, the
State formula grant?
state formula grant. Yeah. You have the figure of $14,496 in the heading. We don't, or at least I don't.
Well, it's in my sheet and it's in Nancy. This is the sheet that Nancy sent out, so.
It's on mine.
Yeah, well, I've got Nancy's too, and it's not on.
It's just whited out on mine as well.
Huh. Okay.
I highlighted that one in yellow because we weren't still sure of that. And I wonder if it just didn't print out well. Are you looking at it?
Yeah,
I have-
it
I have
shows
hash
it.
mark.
It shows it it's a symbol, a number of numbers, number sign symbols. So it's essentially X'd out.
Well,
not
sometimes
be
if
wide
the
enough.
column, you've got to extend the column so that widen the column so you can fit all the figures. You know,
I
Mine
don't think,
Came through.
No, I don't think that's it, Joan. That's not it.
yeah.
Yeah, mine came through and it's highlighted on my printout.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at that, but what we have on the screen is accurate, Jim, for now? And-
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line looks fine.
Okay, so
I would move to approve.
okay. Any other questions though? Or we can move to approve, Jim, and is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay, and then additional discussion. So we
I just want to talk about that we were able to meet with the accountant, which I thought was very important. It was a last minute before, you know, I don't know if we didn't, it may not reflect in this report, but I think it was a valuable meeting.
Yes, as
I do too. Yeah.
fresh as Bradley is to the position, he really had a good handle, I think, on all of these different columns, and he did a lot of quick research, and he came up with some good questions and answered some of our questions. So it was a very, I think, also beneficial meeting.
I do too. He was really responsive, and I think, you know, we'll be able to tighten this up quite a bit with him helping us out. So look forward to that. You know, Joan did send me some fuel, so I'm going to put the gas expenses in the Frida column. There was something else. Oh, the CARES Act. We're still kind of, that's,
Oh, I was supposed to
Still
do that for
working.
today. I apologize. I did not send you the CARES numbers, but Chris Falls did send us some information about transfer of funds for CARES. And I can talk about that in my report.
Okay.
I think we have till the end of this year. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, good. Yeah. So whatever's left over, is this represent the balance that we have, the 4178 for the CARES?
If they haven't transferred or taken it from us, I hadn't compare what Chris sent us to see, because I know they were taking, I had asked for, I think, 25, so they may have taken some away.
Okay. Okay. So I noticed, Joan, on some of the sheets, do we usually take staples out of town expense account?
Yes.
Okay, because I thought on the sheet, it looked like it came from the state formula grant. So I think it makes sense to take it from the town if we can.
Well, we need to use that expense account. So 'cause
Right.
we lose it at the end of the year, but we can also take it out of the formula grant for supplies, but now that we're looking at a new position, we really need to save that amount of money.
Yeah, and we need to spend the town. We lose that at the end of the year too, so
Yes.
legitimate. So let me just, so we have a first and a second. If there's no other discussion, I'll jump down the list again for an aye for approval. Jim Palermo,
Aye.
Lori Lysell,
Aye.
Nancy Lucio,
Yes.
Josie Alderman,
Aye.
Jonathan J,
Aye.
and myself, Janet Kane. Aye. Okay, great. All right, so I'll stop the sharing, and I just want to take a second and welcome Lucy Dalton to the meeting. Is there anything, Lucy, that you wanted to touch base on, or did we just lose you?
She's muted still, looks like.
No, I don't see her. And
There's
then,
somebody else here too at Galaxy S21.
yes, I was going to ask if somebody on the Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G could identify themselves for us for the notes. For the
You have
minutes.
to unmute.
Unmute, please.
It's Jennifer Day.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Jen.
Hi.
Jen, was there something in particular you wanted to speak to? Because we've already had open time, but are you just observing?
I'm just observing.
Okay. All right.
Question.
Okay, so next on is the update from the COA director.
Could you just change the name on Galaxy S21 to Jennifer Day, just so I know who's,
Jennifer, could you do that, please?
I don't really know how to do that.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it then.
Okay.
All right, so actually, we already brought up that, being short-staffed with Darlene, but I have two wonderful volunteers that are helping through the tax work-off program. And one of them is in almost every day, and she works from 9 to 3. So it's been an asset to answer the phones and do a lot of extra things that I just don't have, the time for. And I'm trying to concentrate on reports, etc. Let's see. Did you have my report to bring up, or do you?
I can look for it if you don't have it to bring up.
I have it, but I haven't practiced bringing the report up yet, so I will in the future. I've been spoiled by you. Thank you.
Well, spoiling days are over.
Yes, I know. So we have been open now since June 16th, and our numbers are growing. We had 98 people we served this month and 500 duplicated. So all sorts of things from medical equipment to Shine referrals to all the activities that we're having. And if you got, hopefully the newsletter, did anybody get the newsletter? We did a mass mailing.
I have not.
I have not.
Post office.
I haven't.
I'm a little concerned because we do pay quite a bit of money to have it mailed. So I will check with Marcus tomorrow.
Okay.
It looks like somebody had a question.
No, that's okay. I just sent Lucy a chat and said I would recognize her and raised hand as soon as you're done with your report. So, okay.
Okay. So our, let's see, where do we want, our highlight of our month was our first Highland Valley grant supported memory cafe. And I think that's going to be on the agenda later as well. But I just want to say, I had mentioned this at one of the other meetings. I think it was one of the most valuable programs I've had in the last 4 years. And I know it's the first one, but I have great hopes that we're going to be reaching an isolated group or a group that, doesn't have a place per se at the senior center. And it's only once a month, but I think it's going to be a great program. And I was very pleased with it.
How many were there?
So we had 19, including their staff. So there were 4 of our volunteers and myself, and then we had 8 residents or citizens. I'm not sure which communities they live in, but they go to Florence to the daycare, the Golden Spa, and the 3 staff members who brought them in their cars with their walkers and everything. So it was quite an operation. They have 2 field trips a month, and they're thrilled to be coming to our place. They gave us this beautiful lit birch tree, and one of the activities was to paint wooden fall leaves. So it's usually the activity, the craft, whatever it is usually based on the season. So it was fall leaves, and people participated, they engaged in conversation. There were 3 people that were nonverbal, but they were happy. I mean, Lori can speak to it. She was there. Nancy was there for a short time. And, the music is just remarkable. Music, it touches one of the parts of the brain that, if you have dementia, and music must be in the other part of the brain because they really respond to it. They can remember words. I was thrilled. The Golden Moments group obviously do this every day for 5 days a week. So they're well trained. And they really, it was just a marvelous program. And I'm looking forward to the next one, which is November 18th.
So Joan, I have a quick question because I know there was a scheduling conflict. So what are you doing with the conflict moving forward on Thursday mornings?
So I had asked Lucy and I asked Ed about moving the program into the select board room. I don't know that there was a problem that day. Our group was fine with it. But if that's a problem, the only other thing is to cancel it. But that program's been going on long before I arrived. So even when we've had we were closed for whatever, they would schedule it in that select board room if it was open. So, I mean, I'd be glad to say that we can't have it, but I think it worked out fine. They were in separate rooms. I didn't hear any complaints. The group, the Healthy Bones and Balance, were thrilled to be able to carry on if their Thursday program.
So let me ask, since Lucy's here, so welcome, Lucy. Did you see any conflict then for the select board? Certainly sits there open and it's not a loud group. So was there any concern from you on that?
The only confusion was that when Joan had asked me, first it was Florence who had asked me to book the room for the Memory Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said that I had to check with Ed first, blah, blah, blah. So I checked with Ed. And then I talked to Joan and I said, no, she had come in and she said, we're not going to do the Memory Cafe. We're going to do the Healthy Bones. And I said, okay, well, has this been cleared by the Board of Health or the building, person in charge of the building? It's
So
not up
Lucy-
to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any, I don't need the whole history. I understand the
Oh.
whole history.
So
of
no,
that.
I have no,
So,
I
okay.
didn't. I did not.
Moving forward, yeah. So you're okay with Healthy Bones
As
in?
long as they're quiet, because there
Yeah.
has been groups where they've gotten loud and, just really loud. Not
Mhm.
recently, but there has been loud groups.
But
So,
it seemed to be okay for you for this moving forward, because it would have to be, and if we could schedule it, Lucy, it shouldn't be scheduled under the Council on Aging Board because it has nothing to do with us. Can you schedule it under department head if you need to book it?
yeah, I'll create a new group for senior center then and just put it
Okay.
under that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's department, so yeah, so it adds to confusion when minutes aren't
Yeah,
aren't necessary. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining us today. Go ahead,
Yep.
Joan. I just wanted to make sure, because we have Thursdays booked monthly, once a month, so I just want to make sure that we maybe send
And I will mention that group, the loudest thing they do is count. They count and they don't have music. They count how many exercises they're doing. So that's usually the loudest thing they do.
Good.
And
Can I
there's
just-
8 to
sorry.
10 people.
Go ahead, Lucy.
No, I just wanted to say that I just need to know the dates though, because, if the select board says, we need that room at a certain time, then we need that room or some other, before Joan asks, then, I have to book that room. And
I have the dates up through April of 2022. We just booked that yesterday. We had a meeting. So I have dates up to April 22.
Okay, well, and next Thursday is a holiday, so,
It's the 18th of November is this month, but I'll check in
Okay.
with you in the morning.
Yeah,
Okay.
just send her your new flyer, Joan. That way Lucy has them
I
all.
will send you my flyer.
Yeah.
by
okay.
email.
'Cause I think it's just planning in advance so everybody's aware and certainly it's not whether Lucy has permission. Ed gives us the usage of it, but Lucy has to book it for us. So
I understand.
as long as it doesn't interfere with Nick. Can Joan book rooms or can we do that through Ed or do we need to go through Lucy for that?
I'd have to set her up on my town government, but, I don't think that's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know it was easier since we weren't set up for you to do that. So we appreciate that. And it's just a matter of, making sure that if Joan can book the room or Flo can book the room for Joan, that would be.
Right.
That would be, takes one more thing off of your plate. So,
I'm just going to send her the dates and then she can say if they're clear or not. That's fine.
yeah, but then you should somebody from the COA should do the booking.
Oh,
Okay. There's no reason. That's not really Lucy's responsibility, to my
Oh.
knowledge anyway.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Lori, do you have your hand up?
I just, couple comments. First of all, we're talking one Thursday morning a month. We're
right,
not talking every Thursday. So it's one Thursday. Healthy Bones is very quiet. They've used the room before and Lucy's been quite, content with that. We're not bringing in Zumba or anything else. And get back to the Memory Cafe. It was a wonderful event. I loved it. I took part in all the activities. Great.
Me too.
I didn't empty the building with my singing. That was a plus. The other thing I wanted to comment, if people haven't received online today, their Mass COA newsletter, the whole newsletter talks about memory cafes. That is the big push throughout the state. So kudos to Joan that we're making a move forward here.
Well,
That's it.
I have a credit to Huntington. We were trying to do some collaboration, and Huntington came up with the idea, and I've had experience in it. And I thought, you know, our setting is really perfect for that.
Yeah. I mean, they were so happy. The people couldn't have been nicer, you know, and one lady that I was sitting beside said to me at the end of the event, she goes, "Did you have a good time?" And I said, "I had a very good time. I will be back."
That's good. Rini has her hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, I know in the past we were trying not to have too many volunteers there at any, you know, especially initially. So if you could just let us know, I'd like to go to one of them to, you know, just observe if any one of the dates coming up, if you could just let us know.
Sure, absolutely. I think I sent you the dates today, but right now I think Nancy and Sylvia wanted to come because they're on the committee. So I think they wanted to experience it, but I don't think they'll come every month. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I would imagine, yeah. And they were on the outside of the group, you know, they were observing, so.
Yeah, it was just two of us. Andrea sat at one table and I sat at another. Because Nancy and Sylvia had to leave early. That's why they sat on the outskirts.
Okay, if you could just let me know, Joan.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to come to one as well, but I know we kind of had people booked, so we can get to you and work on that.
That's pickleball day, so we don't want to overbook you. When the winter comes, we'll have. I'll give you those dates. Well, you have the dates as well.
Yeah, and when winter comes, I'll be down in Naples. You can take.
Oh, that's right. Lucky you. Lucky you.
Jonathan, you had your hand up. I think I saw.
Yeah, I think you might have said this, Joan, but I just want to ask, specify how many of the people that attended the Memory Cafe were Southampton residents with memory issues, and how many were their caretakers?
Well, the eight people that came for Florence, I do not know where they originate from. So the initial one, I've got a question out because that's part of our grant is to say where they're from. So I'll be honest that, you know, the two, Laurie and Andrea, which don't have issues. Well, I can't speak. But anyway, Laurie and Andrea are the only two from Southampton that I'm aware of. So I don't know, but the hope is to get some marketing in to let people know, be aware of it, maybe put the A-frame in front of the building so that, and we're doing flyers, we're doing email blasts. Robert Floyd's going to put it in his newsletter. So we need to get the word out there. The first initial one, you know, that's our hope. Rome wasn't built in a day. So our hope is to get more involvement.
And it does take time to create a new program. So this is kind of an opportunity for us to observe and share and participate in the first one. Rini, lots of hands today.
Yeah, Highland Valley is the sponsor of this grant, and they're the ASAP that covers Southampton. Do they have any way of knowing who's getting home delivered meals or homemaking services or any of the services Highland Valley offers? I mean, in terms of getting the word out?
So I mean, well, we have the Highland Valley, we get referral all the time for Highland Valley. They don't share with us. At one time I knew there was 25 people in town that were getting Meals on Wheels. But
they don't for confidentiality reasons. They've told us they've been unable to share that.
Right. Can they provide their clients from Southampton with information about the Memory Cafe?
That is a great possibility. And Mercy Life too, Nancy and I spoke about Mercy Life and some other places that do have Southampton people that would benefit. So yes, that's a great idea. I will reach out to Highland Valley, and they're aware of it, but you know, just do some more marketing and an invitation to say, could you share this with your Southampton people that you're have
Yeah.
contracts with.
Yeah, now you have the flyer and I mean, we're trying to expand the marketing, as we speak. So I know that Nancy and Sylvia and Joan met yesterday. So we're working on getting the word out more successfully, I think and I think we'll be good. We have all the dates and now we have to get the word out and line up the guests. Jonathan?
Regarding the marketing, I think, Joan, the leaflet that you've done is excellent. I would just from a communications perspective, I would offer one major suggestion, and that would be because somewhere it needs to say so it hits you close up without having to read that whole paragraph, explaining it that what it is. So just a line under where it says Memory Cafe, maybe a line in writing that is at least larger than what comes beneath it, that indicates something on the order of support for residents with memory issues and their caregivers, something along that line.
Okay.
And then I think everything that follows pretty much, fills in the, with what that means.
Okay. Good idea.
Okay. All right. So just upcoming initiatives, Joan, we talked about the next, I know you have set up a couple more dates in the early part of next year. So that's good for the Memory Cafe. I know we're exploring expanding Darlene's position, the administrative assistant, into a program coordinator position and funding that through we have funds from the Memory Cafe. That's part of the grant. We have funds through FRIDA. Because they do manage the FRIDA account, and we have funds through the state formula grant, and then not changing any of the town funding because we have what we have for the year. So that's how we're going to look at once we get the job description. I believe it's going to this just to be presented to the select board on Tuesday. Is that still in?
Yes, I just have to talk to you about how that works. Do I send the job description or to the select board, or do I give it to Ed to put in their packet?
Yeah, I thought you sent it to Ed already.
I did, but I don't know. I'll make sure that it gets in the packet.
Yeah, I think that goes to Ed. That's all you need to do. And then we'll go in front of the PPPB following that meeting. So to score the position. Okay, so we'll work through those logistics. We don't have to spend a lot of time today on it, but just so we're moving forward. And in a meeting with Ed, I think his recommendation was rather than an assistant director program coordinator to really move into a program coordinator. We have a volunteer coordinator. We need a program coordinator to work on the Memory Cafe and supporting the marketing issues for that and other marketing initiatives for the other programs and developing new programs to free Joan up to do her, department head requirements. So, okay, let me just look through here. Anybody else have any questions on any upcoming initiatives?
I have a question about Zumba Gold. Is that a pretty popular group?
No, it was one that was recommended by one of our seniors. They have to go all the way to South Hadley to participate. It's very difficult to find a instructor. So unfortunately, the instructor, we only had 4 people.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. How popular was it?
It's again, a new program that's developing, and it could get bigger, but it was too far for the instructor to come. So I'd have to find somebody that was willing. On the other hand, our chair yoga is doing wonderfully, and that's expanded to 6 or 8 people, which we had chair yoga before, but that instructor moved to Ohio. So this is a new one, and they like her very much.
Good. And the technology consultant has been
yes.
also.
I should have made those 2 different. The technology consultant, Megan, is been doing well. She, I think she's already seen maybe 12 people. Some are repeats, but she just started in October.
Right.
And so we're filling up their new people I don't even know that don't usually come to the center. So I'm really thrilled to have somebody, that can help them out.
And hopefully when the newsletter, because you have an article about her in the newsletter. And so hopefully when that gets delivered, that will help spark interest, because we can also expand it to a second day if needed, right? If we have
Sure.
enough money in the CARES fund, and then we'll have to look at state formula grant for after the first of the year.
I will say the computers that we had, I don't know how long they were there before I was there, but we may have to look at upgrading those. Because Tony uses them the most, and now Megan, and they've had issues. So the new reception desk was a fairly new computer, but we can't get it online. And the other two computers, we can't get online. And I think the tech people that Ed has are due to come back. So I'm trying to schedule something for them to look at them, and maybe we need to consider getting new ones.
Okay, but again, you ended up with a laptop, right? With a docking station, so.
That's what I'm using tonight.
Yeah, so, but I mean, that can be used also in the office, and that frees you up for your old computer to be used.
Right. It's the technology. I'm not sure. We did have some Wi-Fi problems again. I don't know what, but it was corrected, but it took a couple days.
Okay.
And so right now we're not able to use, it's sporadic using those computers at the lab, the two we have at the lab and the one that's at the reception desk.
Okay, and the, I don't know, in the department head meetings, if you've talked about ARPA funds moving forward to help support some of the things that were supported by the CARES monies?
I may have missed that meeting because I was on the Zoom for Highland Valley.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if it was, but you may want to, touch base with Ed and see if.
It's called Alpha Funds.
ARPA, A-R-P-A.
A-R-P-A, ARPA Funds, and that's for technology?
No, that's the next round of kind of CARES-like funds. This is the, I'm drawing a blank.
It's American Rescue Act,
Yes.
basically.
American Rescue, yeah, so.
I probably missed it. If it was last Thursday, I missed it. I don't know if Jennifer or Lucy know what they might have been at that meeting.
But there are funds available, so we just need to see if there's something that we can help take advantage of for some of the CARES activities. Okay, and let me just see. So we kind of reviewed the position. Anything else, Joan, from your perspective, or anybody else?
So the Good Eats to Go is a big deal because we had stopped that. We had done it 3 or 4 months and then it's been stopped. So and I'm going to have to get Flo or some of the volunteers to call people that had it before and see if they want it. But that's also on November 18th, and it's either a turkey dinner, a roast pork stew, or a 3-cheese lasagna, and it's comes from the CARES Act, and it's that drive-through meals.
Right.
Good Eats to Go.
So are you scheduling that for pickup after the Memory Cafe is done that day?
Oh, I don't have to do it. People go and drive it through themselves.
Okay, gotcha. They go right there to do it. Great. Okay, that was Highland Valley meals that they drove through for us.
Right. I didn't pursue Highland Valley or Easthampton COA. There hasn't been a big request for meals per se, so.
Okay.
It's because of the holiday coming up. We wanted to do something.
And you're going to have a veterans.
The Veterans Brunch is next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And Darlene's supposed to come back. Her husband's a veteran. She's supposed to come back to help with that.
Okay. And
we've done it a couple times before.
And we're closed on the 11th, correct? The town hall is closed.
Correct. I do have the bus going out, but the town hall is closed. But the bus goes out on Fridays as well when we're closed, so.
Okay, as long as they have a number to contact. Okay, So I'm just going to bring up real quick your new flyer.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia. Okay, so this is the flyer that we've been referring to. And again, it'll be good to get into Robert Floyd's newsletter, to put on our Council on Aging page, maybe get one of the Mothers Club marquee or the Lions Club, so we can have it up for a week beforehand. so that we can help spread the word. And I know we briefly talked about having a community meeting on it, maybe after the first of the year. So get people engaged. But if this goes in the newsletter moving forward, I think this is a good advertisement. And this list the dates that you have picked out through April. So.
And the suggestion that Jonathan made about just putting a headline about support for citizens with memory issues and their caregivers, I think that's a great idea because it does get kind of wordy. But I was trying to put in what it was because a lot of people just don't even know what a memory cafe is. But I would shorten it.
That's good. I mean, I wouldn't shorten it. You may want to put another line underneath. And I don't know if they use the word memory issues. That sounds.
So dementia is harsh. So memory issues is kind of like the more friendly version.
Yeah, I'm not sure issues is a word but maybe that's used. So
memory.
So we'll do some research and see. But this
memory impairment. I've heard memory impairment.
No, let's do a little search because I know MCOA, right, had some.
Yes, they have a toolkit.
Yep. So we'll see what they recommend.
Can I say something?
Who's that?
Me, Sylvia.
Oh, hi, Sylvia.
Hi.
If you raise your hand with the thing on the.
Down.
It's easier for me I can't see all of you when the things are open, but if you do reactions and raise your hands through that helps me to see you.
Okay. All right. I'll do it. But just apologies for being late. But also on our meeting yesterday with the three of us, we talk about, how to expand our marketing in order to have folks from Southampton and Westhampton. And besides getting in touch with doctors, sending the flyer to doctors, putting the flyer at the church, to set it up on Easthampton Media. They do PSAs. So in between, whenever they are not showing something, if they can put it there as a permanent thing or in conjunction with other PSAs that they do, so that it's there for everybody to see it.
Those are all good ideas. Like I said, this is how we're starting to spread the word, right? That's
right. And also, to send it to all of us so that we can also spread the word, tell people that we know in town, email it to folks that live in town that may not be informed, just to let them know what is happening.
Okay, good.
And as you were, I don't know if this is the moment to talk about, but if you're talking about the newsletter, there's something that I've been thinking about, and has it ever been the idea of having a college student as an intern working on the newsletter?
No, but I think it's a great idea.
Okay. I'll do a couple of phone calls with friends that I still have in the colleges and see. I don't think it could happen this semester. I'll try to do something for next semester, but I'll contact a couple of folks in colleges and see, to have an intern to
compile it. Yeah, I would love to work with somebody, and when we do hire the new program coordinator, that would be part of their duties also, is to work on the newsletter. But I will say, when I do get input, like we got a nice picture of the pickleball group from Tony, and we got a picture of Megan and an article for Megan, those things, as Janet had said to me, those are interesting because they're new. Some of the information is repeated. It's reference numbers and staffing, which I know is very large and could be much smaller, and we could put more meat into it than just, skeleton. So I am open to any articles. It's just that I can't make up articles. I'm trying to do what I can.
All right. But for example, now that you're talking about all the information that it has, do the names of the board members need to be there all the time? Or is
I don't know.
Just as a feeler?
Some other councils do mention their board in every newsletter. And actually Friends asked to have their names mentioned too.
Yeah, I think, I had a little tough love with Joan the other day. I said, I don't read the newsletter anymore because it's just kind of repetitive. And, the main article, it might be further back. I might look at the calendar. So we do need, and Joan's got her hands full at this moment, being down a very critical person. So the idea of an intern and probably the new program coordinator, when that person comes on board, can then work on a newsletter. I know you can send articles to Joan, and I know people have, and sometimes they don't make it in. So we've got to figure out a communication and kind of.
Most of the time they get in because I had, the historian had given me 3 articles. I put them all in.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, I know it's a deadline thing, it has to be in by the 15th of the month for the next one. And so, I mean, I try, whatever somebody tries to send me, I guess Lucy did she wrote me something she wanted in that I didn't get in, but it's still handwritten on my desk. So
But I mean, there's articles from AARP, or there's maybe grab an article from MCOA on the Memory Cafe. And, I think anybody in this group probably find an article that they could send that's, relevant. And I don't feel that I've looked at other newsletters and either the names aren't there for the board members or they're really small.
Yes.
And same thing with the staffing. This is for the people that are out there. I think, again, when you get a new program coordinator on board, we can make some,
Well, I will say, when I didn't put Darlene's retirement in, I was called on the carpet for that. So I had to make sure that Darlene was recognized because she said, how else will people know that I'm retired?
Well, and I think that's an important thing to let people know.
Yeah, no, that's different. I mean, maybe the names of both boards can go at the bottom in a smaller font, not the prominent article of the newsletter.
Yeah, Janet's told me that 3 times. It will happen. Happen next month. Thank you.
Okay.
It was a little smaller this time, right? So.
Yes, because I
And
had a bit more information.
The Friends is the same thing. I mean, we don't need to add more names if you want to add it in a small place or maybe somewhere near the Friends. And I will encourage Tony, before he takes pictures, that he gets people's permission for use in the newsletter. So I did, when he came to pickleball, I made sure I asked the people that were there if they were okay with their picture being in the newsletter. And they said, as long as our names aren't attached. So, it's you need people's permission to put their picture even in a newsletter. So, okay, we just want to be careful with that stuff.
So there's a lot of advertising that goes with it because that's how they pay for the newsletter. So I know 2.5 pages or 2 1/4 are advertising. And I do the large print just so I fill a page. So I could do smaller print, but I've got to get more photographs, or I've got to get, like you said, more articles from AARP or someplace. So I will work on that.
Okay, and people will be happy to send you articles. I don't expect you to have to do all the research at this point in time. So if anybody sees anything and you're like, wow, we should put that in a newsletter, that's a great thing. Jonathan?
Just one, I like the idea of the intern, but one note of caution, it's still going to take someone to supervise that person. And I find that sometimes when someone is editing something that someone else has written and also putting it in publishable form, compiling the whole newsletter, it takes almost as much time as if that person supervising was doing it in the first place. So I would just, carefully consider that, and also consider whether or not we want the program the new program coordinator to do most of the work on the newsletter, or whether that's going to, I don't know how many hours it would take, or whether that's going to take away too much time. It certainly takes a load off of Joan's shoulders, it would seem, not having to, to worry about that other than to have the final word.
Sylvia, did you?
Yes, I guess if the idea that I was having is whoever, whether it's the person that works there or a student, to create already a format, a newsletter format, just to plug the articles. There's certain things that are need to be repeated every month, or like the advertisement, where you can plug, where whoever, to tell the person to plug it here and there.
There is a format.
Yes.
The format is already in place. So.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to, the word.
But you need publisher, which is a special program. So.
True.
But that could be at another person's desk. It doesn't, right?
Right.
Add it to another computer.
Yeah, Darlene has it. I mean, the assistant or the program coordinator's desk or Flo's desk has publisher.
Okay. Jonathan?
Yeah, another way to maybe approach the intern is just to have an intern who could do a number of things as determined from time to time by the staff, and that wouldn't necessarily be responsible for a major part of the newsletter each time. But there seems like there's enough stuff always that you could use an extra hand for in helping the other staff.
Yeah, it also depends on the hours and from what of the departments in the colleges the student comes.
I think Rini had suggested interns when she was working with the nursing program. I'm not sure. I just vaguely remember, but either PT or they all have to do certain hours of in-service in the community.
Yeah, I've had students at almost most of the senior centers in Western Mass. It's part of a UMass community course. And so they've done foot clinics, they've done, like exercise classes, it's a population focused thing. So it could involve newsletter or combined with that, doing a class or something. But most of the 4-year programs have a community component and they use senior centers a lot.
So what school would you, there are several schools in this area. Would it be UMass or?
Well, I've taught at UMass Elms and AIC, and UMass is the one that mostly had students at senior centers, but Elms did too, actually, not too long ago. I can talk to I was just asked to teach a class next semester, a community class, same sort of thing. I can certainly ask them if people are interested. It's pretty independent too. These are usually senior 4-year students and they've already done hospitals and everything else. So they don't really require a whole lot of supervision. And the seniors are probably the easiest population to work with than any population that's in this course because they're usually so accepting and, they're easier, frankly.
And we love the intergenerational. They just love being around the younger folks.
Yeah. So I'll let you know. I'll talk to the person that wrote to me to see, but that wouldn't necessarily, Sylvia had a great suggestion it's not necessarily somebody that's specific to the newsletter. It might be other things, it might be outreach.
Yeah. It could be, if they come with a specific things that they need to do that they have to fulfill to get their credit, they can work around that. But the idea of the newsletter is something that, they may have publisher in computers, and there's something that they can do whether at the center or from their dorm or wherever they are, and then fill out the other hours with being present.
Yeah. That's exactly the way it works, actually.
Yeah.
They have a percentage of time that's on site and a percentage of time off site. And they're supposed to they're not supposed to decide what the seniors need. They're supposed to, basically find out what the seniors want. They're supposed to really be an embedded, sort of cultural, appropriate, project that really is coming from the seniors, not from what they think they need.
True.
Okay, great. All right, good ideas. So we're going to move on to the Friends update. That's next week, right? The Friends meeting is next week. Did we miss anything?
Correct.
Last month or?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's.
Well, can I just jump in with the grocery giveaway is probably going to be part of Friends. I know it's part of Friends. So that's something that is going to happen before the next meeting. So Andrea Sullivan, who's the chair, helped myself. We reached out to Big E's. They're going to line up some things for the bags. CARES 1 is going to give us some grocery bags, and they're going to be all packed November 15th, and 16th, and delivered or picked up on the 17th, 18th.
Okay. All right, and they're going to come to the center to pick them up?
So yes, so the last time, if you recall, the center was closed and we had to go to the church. And so they went to the church to pick them up. But now we'll be open, so we will make arrangements for them to pick them up in our parking lot.
Okay, great, good.
Can I just ask a question about that? So that's Big E's in Easthampton?
Correct.
Was there a approach to Pure Foods?
Pure Foods or Big Y, we have not, I mean, we could have. The only reason is the last time we did the grocery, Big E's was very generous, and Pure Foods probably would be too. I mean, it's 2 weeks, so we could, whatever, we can find out from Pure Foods if they'll make any donations, that'd be fine.
Okay, I just wanted to support our own town's businesses.
My understanding is that Pure Food in town has been, when the community asks for something, they've been very generous. That's my understanding, that they do give to Southampton.
Because I think some of the members of our friends, I mean, you don't have to just be a Southampton resident. So I think some of them are from other communities and have relationships with Big E. So I think that's how that kind of got started. So it's a good idea to use Pure Foods as well. So, I mean, the Good Eats to Go is obviously to support our local folks too. All right, just quickly on the donation, we don't really have from David Parsons' estate. We really don't have any updates on the dollar amounts. They're still liquidating, stock, selling the house. So we're still kind of on a bit of a hold. What we're trying to do is to get a sense from the lawyer that wrote the will to better clearly define what does have a plan in place. So that's kind of step one, is we want to make sure we know we have a plan in place. Step two will be to try to set up a formal committee in town once we have more information and a better sense of the dollars that we're going to receive, to have a building committee or search committee or whatever, and go to the select board and request that. So that's kind of a heads up on what's going on with that. Okay.
Did we skip mass in motion? Is that,
I believe that is next on my list, Joan.
Oh, I must have got a previous list. That was before the estate.
Yeah, this is the list I sent out today as a follow-up. Okay, mass in motion, and Rini, I know it was discussed at the select board meeting. I don't really know that much about it, so please educate us.
Okay, so Mass in Motion is a program that Northampton actually contacted Southampton and a lot of neighboring communities. Caitlin Marquis, who actually went to Hampshire Regional, is, I guess, the coordinator of this program. And basically what she's asking is if Southampton is willing to sign on to this Mass in Motion partnership. And so I probably should have forwarded this to you. I know about it.
Rini, can you share something?
Yeah, actually, let me see if I can do that. See how to. I got a lot of boxes open here. I wasn't
I hear you.
prepared to do that. So hang on 1 second. I can try. Well, not very easily. It might just be easy for me to tell you about it. So okay. I knew about this because I had students at the Northampton Senior Center, and they had this program called Mass in Motion, and they were using it. The students jumped in to help them, and they were doing something similar to what we did in Southampton, which was a walk. You remember the intergenerational walk that we had? And the raffle and all that. And, but they were doing something similar to that at Look Park. And so my students sort of just jumped into it because that's what they were doing at the time. And I honestly don't think that there's a lot of money that goes with this, but it might be more resources. So if we're a community that signed on to Mass in Motion, if we were going to do anything that had to do with exercise, fitness, wellness, then we could get resources from this particular collaborative. And it may be that they also said that if they were funding certain initiatives, that DPH might be more inclined to give it to a community that is signed on as a Mass in Motion community. And so I had made the recommendation that we just talked to the Council on Aging, we talked to the school, the PE department, and we talked to the Board of Health, and just ask, is this something that you would support? And so I'll just read a couple of things. Signing on to Mass in Motion is a long-term, non-monetary investment in your community. Mass in Motion is a 10-year contract, and while you may not be clear on how the partnership will benefit you now, signing on now will ensure that the resources of the partnership are available should you want to access them in the future within the next 10 years. Signing on to Mass in Motion does not necessarily require a significant amount of staff time from anyone in your community. Your sign-on represents your interest in applying a set of frameworks to producing positive health outcomes for your community, and it'll be up to the community to determine how to engage with those frameworks. Signing on to Mass in Motion does not guarantee any direct funding. The main benefits of partnership take the form of in-kind support. Like I said, there'd be a resource, and you'd be part of a collaborative, including dedicated staff, access to a network of technical assistance, being linked into statewide regional knowledge networks to support policy systems and environmental changes that improve health outcomes in your community. From time to time, the Mass Department of Public Health makes additional dollars available only to Mass in Motion communities, and you may decide to apply for those dollars when the opportunity arises. So Caitlin offered to come to a select board meeting and sort of present this particular collaborative. And I think there are quite a few towns in our area that are part of it. Problem is she wasn't available at the last select board meeting, but she's willing to come. I think the deadline is sometime this month. November, actually, it's coming up fast, November 15th.
So this is just something that the select board would.
Yes, actually, three
Decide
people
upon?
can. 3 people can actually sign for this. One is the chair of the select board, one's the town administrator, and one is the Board of Health.
Board of Health. Okay.
So, but I just thought, since, I think a lot of this relates to some of the programming that the Council on Aging has done in the past, and also some of the things that the PE teacher at Norris has been involved with in terms of walks around the school and healthy fitness for the kids, and also the Board of Health. I mean, it just seems like, so we thought that we would just see if there was an endorsement or, sounds good, sounds like something that we might want to do. What I don't know is how much, is there much in terms of reporting that we would have to do? Because if it's non-monetary, I certainly don't want anybody to get into something for a 10-year thing that requires an awful lot of work and no money behind it. So anyway, I just wanted to.
Who would be the person that would do the reporting? I mean, you have so many different departments. I mean, that's something they would have to work out. I know Joan, who's chomping at the bit over here, because the word no does not exist in her vocabulary.
There was similar program before called Keep Moving, and all these walking clubs, like we have all these walking clubs, and all the Council on Aging's was part of this Keep Moving, and you would go to a class, you would learn about the benefits of walking. They would go to Cape Cod and walk. They would go to Forest Park and walk. Probably at Look Park they'd walk. So it's probably something similar to this Keep Moving program, but now it's called Mass in Motion. It's marvelous.
Yeah, I actually feel like it's, just having been a little bit a part of it, that I think that there is going to be resources available to share with member communities that would be probably helpful to people in general. And if anybody's doing any particular programming that involves exercise, fitness, that sort of thing, I think that it's going to be helpful.
Yeah. Josie, did you have a question on this subject?
Yeah, it's probably my hearing, but
okay.
I'm not sure. Am I hearing Mass, like in Massachusetts?
Yeah, Massachusetts. Mass in Motion. Yep, Massachusetts in Motion.
Okay.
And RSVP, which is the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, does the Healthy Bones and Balance. So I would imagine that, these are the kind of programs that we're looking for: active, healthy aging, We want things like that for our community, and it also broadens to the, age-friendly community, et cetera.
Jim?
I have no sense of what this is, though. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about walking clubs and so forth, but how is it structured? What does it do?
Yeah,
I mean, I would really need,
yeah,
I'm not against it, but I don't really know enough to endorse it.
yep. Well, I wish I could why don't I just send this to Janet and ask her to send it out to everybody? Because it is a little bit hard to understand. It sounds like it's resources. It's basically when you sign on to be part of this, it provides a number of resources available to the different communities. And let's see, it says since 2011, Healthy Hampshire has worked with Amherst, Belchertown, Northampton, Williamsburg. Also part of is Blandford, Chester, Chesterfield, Cummington, Goshen, Huntington, Middlefield, Montgomery, Plainfield, Russell, Westhampton, and Worthington.
Wow.
To do what?
Well, these are all companies, towns that have signed on in the past to this collaborative, or else Healthy Hampshire. Why don't I just send this? This is a document that I probably should have sent before, and I apologize for that. It's I'll just send this to you, and then you can just write back to me if you have any, questions. It's really going to be either Ed or Chris Fowles or the Board of Health that's going to have to ultimately sign on to it. And I think what we may do is we may ask Caitlin if she's available to come to a select board meeting and talk to this a little bit more. We do have a meeting next Tuesday, which precedes the
Deadline.
sign on to this.
And I know we have we've had a pretty active walking club in the COA, and we did enjoy the walk that we had gotten together through the MCOA. So yeah, I think we just don't understand, as long as it's not going to cost us anything or, take any more time away from.
Yeah, what worries me, it's a 10-year commitment. And I mean, there's just so much that's not defined. And obviously it's more than just walking clubs.
Right.
And are we going to be required to provide resources to other communities? And under what circumstances?
No,
I mean, it's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I know. It is a little bit hard to understand since it's not something that involves our, sending a member there, or it's a little bit amorphous, that's for sure. It is funding through the Department of Public Health. And it says, I'll just read with the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, Bureau of Community Health and Prevention's Mass in Motion Municipal Wellness and Leadership Initiative works with communities across Massachusetts to implement municipal and regional practices to address root causes that impact opportunities for active living and access to healthy and affordable food. So then it goes on to the goals a bit but again, it's not 100% clear how Southampton would benefit from this. And I certainly don't want to put anybody in the position of having to do a lot of work without getting a lot of benefit from it. I think theoretically.
I think it'd be good to read about it and give it some study. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Healthy Hampshire either. That's a new term to me.
Okay, I'll go ahead and send it. I'll send it to Janet. Maybe you can send it out, okay?
Yeah, and then people would respond back to Rini directly.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
We can't, once the meeting's over, obviously we don't.
Right.
I think collectively, but if you have thoughts or concerns or positive feelings, after reading it, that would be great, Rini, thanks.
It wasn't something that we were asking to go to these bodies to say, take a vote and see whether or not we should do it or anything. It was really just, this program relates to some of the activities that the PE teacher was doing, that the Board of Health hopefully would support, and also that the Council on Aging has been very involved in, like, between the walking and the intergenerational.
Pickleball.
Pardon?
Pickleball, would that be included?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, even the food program. So again, I think it's a resource more than anything, and the potential for funding it's like the open space and recreation plan. If you don't have that done, you're not eligible for funding. And I think they're trying to, basically say you have a leg up on funding if you're one of the Mass in Motion communities.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll get it out, Rini.
Okay, sure.
Today, and people can take a look at it. And if you have any thoughts, I mean, it doesn't sound like we're the final vote by any means, but thank
No.
you for informing us.
Right.
And on the surface, it looks like something that, we would like to participate in. But again,
Yep.
devil's in the details. So we'll
Okay.
take a look at that. So is there anything else that's not on the agenda that can't wait till the next meeting that you want to touch base on? No? Nope. And let me see. So schedule the next meeting, which is really hard to do because it's the first Monday of the month.
Mhm.
December 1st. I hate those.
Me too. I hate meetings on the 1st.
But it is the first of the month. So we'll take care of that. All right. So December 1st at 4:00.
It's the last time we'll meet on the 1st this year, so it's okay.
Promise, Jim? Promise?
Very
I
good,
promise.
Jim.
Now,
Okay.
we're able to continue on Zoom indefinitely? I mean, is there a?
Till
is that-
April at this point. So
Oh, thank you.
Oh, good.
Through the winter.
April something. So until it gets either extended or it goes away at that point. So hopefully by April, we're all safe.
Can I ask a question? Since we're talking about taking precautions, at least with town business during the pandemic, this next stage. Well, I don't understand why Southampton the Board of Health has not imposed mask mandates on the town. I get concerned when I'm in Big Y, although Big Y is up and down, it seems, on it. It has a lot to do with the store policy, but I think they've removed their mask mandate recently. And several of the other towns nearer, the larger towns, do have the mask mandates. I get concerned, and I know that I am not maybe the average person in terms of fear, but it does concern me when I go into a place like Big Y, and I find that some staff, are not wearing masks. Anyways, is there a reason why the Board of Health has not gone in the direction for Southampton that other towns have gone in?
I think that's a question for the Board of Health, Jonathan. I mean, we can speculate, but I think what I've heard was that it's hard to enforce. And it all falls on to the owners. I mean, one of the reasons I've been going to Big E's is because Easthampton did have a mandate, whereas our local smaller community stores do not. And I feel safer shopping at Big E's than other communities. But so I don't think you're alone, but that's really something, you'd have to speak to the Board of Health about with that, because Rini isn't the liaison to them this year. So, I mean, we can speculate, but now people are taking away their mandates and making it recommended instead in other communities. So it's kind of, since the numbers are down, we'll take away the mandate. So I'm sorry, Jonathan, but it really would be a question for the Board of Health,
Caitlin Swistack-Rooks is the chair of the Board of Health. And if you don't have her number, I'm happy to provide that to you.
Or you could contact her through the town as well, the town. She's got an email.
Oh, good.
But the select board, I take it, has not really had any discussions on this, as just leaving it to the Board of Health as opposed to making any recommendations or expressing any concerns?
It's the Board of Health that has the authority to be able to do a mask mandate.
Right, but that's what I was asking about, suggestions or concerns being expressed. So this is something the select board doesn't even want to discuss. Right.
We haven't up till now. I mean, we did have regular meetings with Police, Fire, Highway, Board of Health in the height, in the height of the pandemic, but that has not been addressed by the select board up till now.
I would say it's kind of interesting to hear, Janet's take on it, that she goes out of town because she feels
that would be-
safer. So
That would
that's
be important
something
to
the
let you
town-
know.
Yeah,
The Board of Health, that is.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean this as a criticism, really, of the select board. I'm just trying to understand the situation because it does concern me. I'm and I'm glad to see that places, entertainment, some of the entertainment venues now in East and Northampton, like such as the Academy of Music, are requiring proof of vaccination.
Mhm.
And Max, yep.
It makes a difference as to where I choose to go, despite being vaccinated and despite the fact that I'm going to have my third, shot tomorrow. So.
Very.
Well, we got into a little bit of difficulty last year with the whole Halloween thing. And so anyway, right now it's sort of the jurisdiction of the Board of Health. So I would contact them. Also, I volunteered at a flu clinic on Sunday. So just keep in mind that if you haven't gotten a flu shot and you want one, there are plenty of clinics available. And also there's plenty of opportunity to get boosters. And they're now setting up for pediatric clinics we gave flu shots to kids that were over 5 on Sunday. But anyway, there's plenty of opportunity. It's not the same situation as initially. So if you're interested, just the Northampton Health Department has a listing of a number of clinics, okay?
Yep. Yeah, it's much easier to get an appointment
Yeah.
booster than it was for 1 and 2. But yes. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Okay. Second, Nancy. So run down a list. Jim.
Aye.
Okay. Lori.
Aye.
Nancy.
Hi.
Josie.
Aye.
Jonathan.
Aye.
Sylvia.
Aye.
And Janet. Aye. Well, thank you everybody for coming and all your input and questions as always. Very, very good. And we look forward to the next Memory Cafe and the good eats to go and pickleball.
Can I ask just one more question? How do you get the hand to raise a hand?
Okay, so if you go down to your bottom of your screen, it says reactions. Do you see a
Okay.
button? And if you click on the button that says reactions, it says raise hand.
Ah,
And so
okay.
you
I
raise
was
your hand.
waving.
Yeah, I don't know. If you raise your hand here, it puts you at the top of the screen and makes me very much aware if we have something
Okay.
open and you're all buried underneath there, it's a little bit. So everybody's raising their hand, but I'm not calling on any of you.
But I've learned something. I feel like I'm a better human being now. Thank you.
You are. And then you have to lower your hand afterwards.
Oh, how do you do that?
Reaction, and it's in the same place where you raised your hand, you just lower your hand.
Ah, great.
Perfect. All right.
learned
Thank
two
you,
things.
everybody.
Hope you feel
Thank you.
better.
Thanks.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Apologies
Bye, guys.
again.